having the burden of debt, like, oh my gosh, I never want to feel that way ever again. And so, okay, when people come to me on, oh, I'm just so nervous, I can't show up on video. And I'm like, I've never told anyone this, but this is what I'm thinking. Like, because they're nervous about how they look or how they sound. And I'm like, I was sleeping on my brother's floor, getting no sleep whatsoever, broke as a joke, having no confidence, getting dumped. And yet the next day, I still showed up, and I am so grateful that I did. But like, you're worried about how you sound?
Welcome to the J Lane Experience, episode number 2. This is so exciting. I have Stevie Hahn, who's one of the most epic people I could find in the, no offense to everyone else, in the real estate genre. She's one of the top producers in Jacksonville. Is it like 5%? What is it like in the
U.S.?
The United States.
Yeah.
Is that like legit?
That's legit.
Like no joke.
Yes, absolutely.
It's a fact, folks. So
I wouldn't lie to you.
Okay, perfect. At least not on the show. So no, but this is exciting because like she's so like influential on her social media, and we're gonna kind of dive into that and talk about how maybe you could start social media, what she's doing with social media, where she finds business, how you do 10, 12, 14. What are you doing? 14 million in sales?
Oh yes.
This year?
I'm at 11 and a half right now by
and your
myself.
Goal is?
My goal for this year was 10.
Well done.
I can't even believe it.
You've topped my goal of gross sales by far. I mean, of course, you're selling homes, but
yeah.
but still. But now you said by yourself, you do have a transaction coordinator.
I do have a transaction coordinator. I hired her in March, which was right as the pandemic happened. And I was like, why am I bringing this person on?
Right.
But I am beyond grateful for her because there's no way I could do this without her.
I know. So like I've experienced that in my business too, where you bring people on where you feel like you're at the breaking point.
Yeah.
So then you bring them on, then you expand, and you're like, oh crap, like, but I have to have the sales but that's your role.
Yes.
Is the sales to bring to the team, which is like me right now trying to look for an estimator. And I already have other people like project managers, estimators, and I just hired a superintendent, and I just hired 2 months ago an executive assistant. So it's like all these people I'm adding to my team. Stephanie's blowing my world away because she's so awesome. So that's probably how you feel.
Isn't that scary though?
Bringing on
Yes,
people,
I feel as though it was a struggle for me, and it was just a transaction coordinator, but it was a struggle for me because I feel as though I wanted to have that control in my business. So it was really hard to be like, okay, yes, you make these calls, you do these emails, you communicate with them when people are wanting to work with me.
Right.
But it honestly got to the point where I switched brokerages. I switched to Keller Williams in March, and I didn't know how to do any of their paperwork, how they use their systems and all those things. And I didn't have time, I felt like, to learn all of that. And I was like, I need to bring somebody on who already knows how to do all these things. And it was such a blessing because I genuinely needed that in my business probably a year ago, prior to bringing her on. So it's just been amazing, and people have been loving her, and I feel as though it makes me look better. So if anyone's like, should I bring on this person? Like, it could end up helping you make more money ultimately.
Which is a lot of what I talk about is like the E-Myth, like going back to that book, which I think you've said you've read that one about the technician, the manager, then the entrepreneur. We talked about it in the last podcast too. When you get to that level where you need to be the entrepreneurial, I see in your business this aspect of you're kind of going from the technician up to maybe the manager, and you're still doing showings, you're still doing, what else do you do?
I'm doing it all. It's a one-woman show over here.
An $11 million one-woman show.
It is.
That's really impressive.
I brought somebody recently on within the last, I would say 30 to 60 days that is helping me with showings. Okay. So she goes out and shows buyers properties.
Is that 100% delegation? Like you send her off and you're not worried about.
No, so actually I've tried this before in the past, and the way that these agents would follow up with me, like they weren't providing me enough information. I'd be like, did you reach out to them? And this woman would follow up with me and let me know like every aspect of how the appointment went, that she booked it, that she provided them with this answer. And I was like, okay, this is somebody that
Nice.
I need to partner up with. And she's a newer real estate agent and just like has the drive to learn.
Yeah.
And it's been really helpful for me.
So what would you recommend to people that have the drive to learn and see someone that they admire?
Yes.
I mean, it's like, right?
This honestly has been a huge part of my life since I got into real estate, was to surround myself with people who were smarter than me, that were more successful than me, that I could take little nuggets from and learn like how have they built their business. And I think a lot of people may feel intimidated to do this, to reach out to somebody that is more successful, but a lot of people are actually willing to help.
Right.
If you reach out to them and ask them questions, they are willing to reach back out. And
How many people do you reach back out to that reach out to you on your Instagram at Sold by Stevie?
that was a nice plug.
Yeah, I said it nice and clearly.
So
You have like almost 20,000 followers on that, right? 17,000, whatever.
yes.
And I'm sure people reach out to you on asking questions and can you help me? And I get it all the time. Some dude from Argentina reached out to me and was like, what do I do? Like, I'm like, oh my gosh. Like he has this horrible like life story. Like he doesn't have any construction experience, but he wants to be a general contractor. I'm like, what do you tell people like that?
I think because a lot of times when people message me, it's like, I need to know more. I can't just respond to you back in a one word answer or one sentence.
You send a little video.
Oh, I love video messages and voice memos. So I do that a lot. But I ended up starting a weekly mastermind call for real estate agents that I do every single Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern. And it's a call that people can come on and ask me questions. So I've delegated this time. So when people ask me messages, if it's a quick answer, I will respond. But it's overwhelming. And so I felt as though I'm going to allot this 30-minute time.
You're busy enough, right?
Yeah. I'm going to allot 30 minutes though to you. Like I want to help, but at the end of the day, like I have to prioritize that. So every Wednesday I'm like, hey, you got this awesome question. I would love to answer and learn more about you. Come on Wednesday night.
We're going to put that Zoom link if you want to join
Yes.
in the description. So like text that to me or something.
Yeah.
How did you get started in real estate?
So gosh, this is like a deep.
This is about to get deep. If you're still watching, which hopefully you are, we just started. This is going to be probably, I'm hoping, I don't know exactly what you're going to say,
Okay.
but Stevie wants to get real. And so we're going to get real because that's what the J-Lane experience is, because I'm
It's going to be an experience.
a real person and this is my show. And I bring on real people to my show. You're great. Go ahead.
Okay. So, I do so much on social media and I'm always doing like trainings and podcasts and, I've got a training coming up in 2 weeks in Palm Coast. And I feel as though it's very like surface level, and my audience, which is huge, I feel as though they don't really know my whole story. And a lot of my close friends here, they always make comments like, it's so funny how much you share on like Instagram stories, for example.
Yeah.
But like
every day there's like 1,700 like Instagram stories on Stevie.
pretty much. But they always say like, but you're so private and you don't share like anything about your personal life. Like they have to pull things out of
You
me.
share Goldie,
Yeah. I feel like that's
her dog.
Yeah. Like that's okay. That's not like super personal.
Talking about the core of like you as a human.
Yeah. Like I guess like I just share real estate. Like I'm just like even my previous broker was like, I think you need to share more like about you. And I have been since he mentioned that, and it has been actually really beneficial. But okay, so when I got into real estate, I was working 2 jobs. I was working at an insurance company part-time, and I was working at California Pizza Kitchen in the St. John's Town Center. I had actually been employed.
How many years ago is this?
This was 6 years ago.
So that's an encouragement to those listening, is it doesn't have to be a long process. Long meaning a decade.
Yeah. No, totally. And so I was working these 2 jobs. I was also like always trying to like dabble with school. And
For what? I mean, school for what?
I was just wanting to go. Like, I felt like that's
In
what I was
general?
supposed to do.
Okay, go ahead.
So I was taking like general classes.
Like AA, whatever.
Figured like I'll probably do something in business. So broad. So it's like, yeah, let's just get
Which
like a
that definitely happened, right?
yeah. And
Okay, so then-
my dad has always owned restaurants, so I just felt like it just.
The number one hardest business to own.
So I was honestly trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. I felt as though I had such good work ethic, but I wanted to be excited. I wanted to be passionate about what I was doing every single day. And I remember I was getting my insurance license because I was working at an insurance company. So that seemed logical to do.
What kind of insurance did you sell? Just in a nutshell.
I ended up not getting my license, but it was a life insurance company.
Okay.
And,
Cool.
you know, everyone every day was like, when are you getting your license?
Did you
When are
learn
get your license?"
sales? I was curious.
I learned so much. Like, I
Yeah.
know that time in my life totally happened for a reason. So I was getting my insurance license, and in the middle of it, I was like, I think I want to get my real estate license. My mom
What popped that into your head?
My mom had her real estate license, so she kind of like planted the seed for me. And I remember being really embarrassed at that time because I just couldn't figure things out. I didn't know what I wanted to do, but in order to figure that out, like, you have to try new things.
Right.
You have to learn new things. And I knew about the insurance business, and I was like, this isn't something I'm passionate about. I don't envision myself doing this. So I got my real estate license, and at that time in my life, which I've never shared this with anybody, like, there's been some people around me during that time, but nobody that, like, afterwards I was like, let me just tell you all this, which is a lot.
Spill it.
So basically, I was in a lot of debt. I worked these two jobs, but like, I didn't make a lot of money, and I was in a lot of credit card debt. I was in student loan debt because
How much?
I think,
Like over 10,000 or like
yeah,
like 50?
no,
Okay.
in between there.
Cool.
But I tried to go to school in Gainesville, and then I came to Jacksonville. I tried to go to school here, and I just failed miserably. Because I always had to work. Like, I had to pay bills, and like, I didn't have any kind of support. So like, when I moved to Gainesville, I was the manager at Planet Smoothie.
Oh, wow.
Out of high school, and I was the one having to be there at 7 a.m. doing inventory and scheduling, and then when these college kids couldn't make it in on the weekend, I was the one that had to go in. And I had a full school workload, and it was just, I failed. Like,
Right.
I failed miserably. I couldn't do it. So anyways, I ended up, where was I at? Getting my real estate license.
You were in a lot of debt.
I was in a lot of debt.
Credit card debt,
student
tried school.
loan debt. And I was in this relationship for several years. That was just really hard for me. And I was always very envious of him and his job. He worked at CSX, made a salary of $70,000, and
cute.
had benefits. No, now it's like
Yeah.
so interesting to
Yeah.
look back on that, because
It is.
I was so envious of that, and I'm like, why?
Yeah.
I make my own schedule. I make so much more than that.
Yeah.
Like, it's just so
He
interesting
has
how
a
you
boss.
evolve.
He's in
He
the
has
E
a boss.
quadrant, so most of it goes to taxes anyway.
He was always worried that he was going to lose his job because they're always firing people over there. After we broke up, I had nowhere to live.
And this is like, what, 7 years ago or something?
6 years ago.
Okay, back to that same.
Yeah, six.
Spot in
I
time.
got my real estate license.
Okay.
Things.
And your mom lent you like a couple $100 or less
to
just do the course.
Yeah, to do the course. She was like, I think you should do this, and she gave me the money for it because like that's where I was financially. Like even like dating with this guy, I don't think I ever paid for anything. And like looking back on that, that's just so wild to me.
Crazy,
to
isn't
think about. But wow. So okay, this is the kicker.
Okay.
So I had nowhere to live. I couldn't get like a 1-bedroom by myself. Like that would have been a huge, awesome luxury for me.
Right.
I
Like
would've-
$1,000 was a lot of money.
I could not pay $1,000. I didn't even want to be someone's roommate because I didn't think that I could pay half of that.
So you bought a
rent.
love sack, and then I don't know.
I mean, it looks kind of nice.
But it's great.
Actually, that would have been a lot better than my situation.
This is like a $1,600 bag, by the way. But anyways,
Okay, so I called my brother, and he had a 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo and he had a roommate, so he didn't have an extra room. He partied like crazy at this time, so he was up all night, and it was so dirty. I couldn't even like say like, hey, I need to sleep on your couch, because like they were partying all night. I couldn't just like sleep on the couch, right? So that first,
Did you already have your license at this point or no?
I had just gotten my license, and I was working these 2 other jobs.
And you're still learning the trade. You're still
Oh,
learning.
That state test does not teach you anything about how to negotiate, how to prospect.
Neither does the GC test.
Yeah, the purchase and sale, all these legal documents.
Yeah.
Like that's where the real training comes into place. Is
doing it
after that? Yeah.
Yeah.
So the first night I slept on his bedroom floor, and the next day I bought a twin size air mattress and slept on his floor. And I remember like facing the wall and was like,
where am I at in
how
life?
did I get here? But I just know I am damn straight
I
gonna
just
get
got
myself.
chills. Like, have you ever shared this rags to riches story anywhere?
No,
Are
this
you
is my
serious?
first time. Like
Why did you choose my show to do?
I think like you had reached out to me like honestly at the perfect timing, because I've been trying to like be more intentional and present in my life, and I take weekends off social media, and I've been writing. And that particular morning when you had reached out to me, this is actually a great activity. I don't know.
Journaling?
Yes, but I wrote down the things that I was like proud of within the last 5 years, like accomplishments, people that I've met, the money that I've made, the debt I've paid off. And the reason why I did that was because I feel as though I beat myself up a lot, and I compare myself to other people, and I'm so ambitious and have so many goals and things I want to do. And it was like really awesome to like write these things down and to visually see this extensive list. And if you would have showed me this list 5 years ago, I would have not believed you like that I was going to do any of these things. It's incredible in my mind.
Right.
And you had texted me and you were like, hey, do you want to be on my podcast? And I was like, you know what? I do. And I have an idea.
Nice.
And you were like,
I'm
what?
gonna get real.
Yeah. And I was like, I don't know. I'm ready to share my story because I've never shared this with anybody.
Right.
I think it's going to give people a different perception of me because I want to like share it with my audience. Because I think people see my social media and they're like,
where you are today.
It looks so fun and it's not hard. And it's like,
do you on purpose present it that way? Like not on purpose, but like in the day to day, and you're like, here's a little, like the best spot of my day. Just sold this, just closed on this $300,000.
Totally.
Yeah. Like I'm going to share this moment.
Absolutely. Because first of all, I never want to be negative. Like things may be going on in my life and I'm overwhelmed. I'm always having to put out fires and needing to be at 5 places at once. But I'm always like with that client or on social media. Like it's not about me. It's a very selfless industry. It's about giving people a good experience. And I feel as though I'm going to show up that way. I don't want to be so stressed out and upset about something that I'm going to show up on social media venting about it.
Right.
Like, no, I'm just going to solve the problem and move on.
Yeah. I've struggled with that same thought as well, because the amount of bull crap that I have to go through as a business owner and a general contractor, managing all these sub trades, managing all the people that work for me, managing them, managing their employees, managing their laborers, it's a headache. It's a nightmare. It's actually a nightmare sometimes. Yeah. But how do we share with our audiences the after effects? Maybe it'd be cool to be like a vlog one day, like maybe like I'll get there at some point, like having a camera guy come around like in specific moments. There's legal aspects, but it's like showing kind of like the through the process versus just like talking about it on a podcast, which is still valuable. It'd be like, had this thing today, like blah blah blah. I also this is how I dealt with it.
Don't want to show up and say those things because everyone follows me on social media and I want to like respect their privacy and not really like go into the nitty gritty of certain people, certain deals.
You'd have to say like, I had this certain client and she.
But if they still watch that, names. I feel as though it'd be a little invasive.
I agree. That's been the struggle. That's why I've done it a couple times actually. There's been a few vlogs. Like if you look back on my channel, it's just a few, but it's very rare that I'll put a camera in a weird atmosphere or whatever.
But I think with always showing up, being positive, like I don't want to see like negative things on other people's social media. So why would I?
You talk so positively about social media, and how did we meet? Did we meet on like
I think Instagram.
I don't even know. I don't remember like exactly the first interaction, but like I just feel like I've known you for like 3 or 4 years. It's just like I just know you as a person now, but it probably was because of like somewhere on Instagram. I don't know where.
Well, that's the benefits of social media.
It's
is
so
like you
beneficial.
Can meet amazing
Gary
people.
Vee says it just like exemplifies the people with who they already are. So if you're a horrible person, social media is horrible. You know what I mean? Because it's like it amplifies horrible people, or it amplifies people like maybe me and you that are good people and want to spread that.
No, honestly, I've come up with
meet other good people.
Yeah, I've met like some of my closest friends from social media probably 10 years ago. If you were to say that would be really weird. But I feel as though you get to know people's personalities, and I want to gravitate.
Especially with video.
Yeah. Oh, totally with video. But I feel as though like I want to gravitate towards people that I want to learn from, that are more successful, smarter, like all these things. Like people like, and this is the prime example. Like after we hung out the last time, which we like looked at your flip properties, like I was so excited and like fired up. And I feel as though I'm always like give to a lot of people. And I feel like it's very refreshing to
you want to get into it for yourself. Go ahead. It's refreshing to, you want to get into real estate yourself? Is that why you're so pumped up? Is that what you're saying?
Oh no, like with investing.
That's what I meant.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
And real estate. So does Charlie.
Yeah.
The epic camera guy.
Like you should surround yourself with people who are doing that to learn from them and take little nuggets from different people. But
so why were you pumped up?
I just feel as though like I just asked you questions and it left me like feeling excited and like I could do this. I could do this. But unless you go out there and like visually, I'm a visual person. So like unless you like go out there and like visually see other people actually doing this and asking them questions and learning, that's what like fires me up. But that's just what I want to surround myself with people where I leave and I'm like fired up.
What if you could watch the vlog of someone's day kind of instead of...
That's awesome. People love that.
How cool. Because I affected you in that way.
Yeah.
How cool would it be if me or vice versa, you could affect your audience?
Oh, totally. People message me all the time. They're like, just because of like all the things that you share, like...
Yeah. But how could you go deeper? Like you do the stories.
I do the stories. And I do
want to go back to your rags to rich. I want to go back to the rags. Just real quick. I want to talk about the rags. But I also want to talk about how maybe you could maybe exemplify some of this present day rags. You know what I mean? Like within your, if it's stories, it's stories. Like I'm sure how many people watch your stories? Like
thousands,
1,000, like 1,000 or 2,000 people might watch your story. For me, it's like 400 or 500, but it's like, you have like such a fantastic audience. So anyways, so go back to that.
What? Instagram stories?
No, the rags.
Oh, okay. So I basically sleeping on my brother's floor and, getting no sleep whatsoever. I remember buying earplugs and I was like trying to sleep. So
because of his partying or his snoring?
No, he like had so many people over. He was partying. That was like, and sleeping on the floor, like you don't get good sleep. And it's very hard to show up the next day and be confident. Yeah. And you're in like having the burden of debt, like, oh my gosh, I never want to feel that way ever again. And so, okay, when people come to me on, oh, I'm just so nervous, I can't show up on video. And I'm like, I've never told anyone this, but this is what I'm thinking. Like, because they're nervous about how they look or how they sound. And I'm like, I was sleeping on my brother's floor, getting no sleep whatsoever, broke as a joke, having no confidence, getting dumped. And yet the next day, I still showed up and I am so grateful that I did. But like, you're worried about how you sound? Like, I have no sympathy.
I don't have sympathy for them either.
So
honestly, I mean, there's like, who's that one funny looking comedian guy, like he still made it. You know what I mean? Like the Mr. whatever.
I feel like there's so many.
There's so many like people.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter how you look.
It doesn't.
It doesn't matter how you sound. If you have something to share or say, I think you should create some sort of social media platform. I don't know how you balance it all. LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram.
I'll share.
TikTok.
Well, I did TikTok.
I gave up on TikTok.
During like quarantine.
Charlie's shaking his head no. Why? You're 17, actually.
Yeah,
I need to know why.
TikTok is a silly platform.
Silly platform?
Yeah, it's
but what about Gary Vee? He says.
Yeah, he does.
I don't know if you can hear Charlie.
TikTok is made for stupid videos, and that's like.
Well, but so was anything else when it first started.
Snapchat, Instagram, like that's my business.
Are you on Snapchat?
No.
Yeah, me either.
I mean, I had Snapchat before, but not for like business.
Not for business.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how can someone be on all these platforms? And are you done your rags story? You're probably still in the middle, but we're kind of dancing around it.
No, it's fine.
But it's like, how can someone start and be on all these platforms?
Just start
at once? Is it like an overwhelming thing? I know you were talking to, what's his name, Josh, on your last like podcast that you did. You just did it all at once.
Yeah, I did.
You post on LinkedIn, blah, blah, blah. Is there an app that lets you post to all of them at once?
There is an app called Hootsuite, but I know there's several more that you can sync for. You post the content, you post the day, the time, and it syncs out to all these different platforms. It makes it so easy. I think the problem is that people like overanalyze. They're like, what time exactly, what day, how much? And I'm like, it's not even about that. I do not have a time or a day, or it's just like in the moment.
You guys have all seen in my YouTube videos, there's never been a schedule, because if I did that to myself, I would stress the crap out of myself. Be like, oh my gosh, it's almost Thursday. But like, I don't know, like I'm just like, when I feel inspired, I do it when there's a month where I'm just like crazy busy bidding $5 million jobs or like whatever like it takes. I can't post. So I'm not going to, because it's like a mental space thing for me. Mm-hmm. So how could someone get started?
I think honestly, I think video is everything. And realtors always ask like, what type of video equipment? I really do not think you need anything fancy. The iPhone has such a nice camera. That's all I use.
Not Android, iPhone.
Oh shoot.
You can't do social media if you have an Android.
Actually, they have a really good camera.
I'm
vouching.
I love Apple.
Post in the comments what you use.
Oh, and by the way, post in the comments for the next vlog or podcast. I'm going to have Justin Bullock. Realtor, but also my business partner. Charlie knows him also. And Charlie's like a character in my podcast now. But like post in the comments, my executive assistant was like, ask the people to write some comments of what they want to see. Some questions you want answered.
Post below.
Yeah. And then follow Stevie, Sold by Stevie. Okay. And now we're back. I love it. Just wrap up your rags because you it's a deep subject. By the way, just start on social media is the answer to the last thing. I think you just got to do it.
You just got to
post videos, any platform, it doesn't matter. Get on Instagram and YouTube are the two most like stable things. I post my YouTube videos sometimes to Facebook because like I get like these brokers or like the architects and the commercial owners. I'm like friending them. Like then they see my videos and they're like, oh yeah, Jesse Lane, like J Lane Construction, boom, like fresh of mind, top of mind, right?
Yeah.
So like I need a construction project 7.5 months later. It's like, remember Jesse Lane?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I feel like anyone with a service or a product needs to be on social media, and it's free. So I don't spend any money. It's
totally free.
I don't spend any money in my business, really, but I would spend money.
Jealous.
I would spend money. If Instagram started charging, I would pay into it because I see the value.
That's a fantastic statement.
Boom. Mic drop.
Well, don't drop these. They're like $400.
Dang it.
So like back to like that. How'd you get out of that hole?
Okay, so I basically just kept showing up every single day. I would do 3 open houses a weekend, 2 on Saturday, 1 on Sunday. I would be in the office. I'd be answering those calls, and I would educate myself.
When did you start seeing results?
Okay, so I feel like I had such a different beginning. So I was with a particular brokerage for 6 months. I did 1 deal and I was like, real estate is not for me.
Your first 6 months.
Yes. Okay. I didn't have a good experience. And then I ended up hanging my license at another brokerage, and it was like a game changer for me. I started going to training. I started meeting quality friends. Like I didn't really have like good people in my life. And I started like meeting new people who were new. So like it made it a little bit more exciting. So for us to like go through this journey together. And I basically started going to training, started just like doing all these things. And I got with this property management company Long story short, I ended up working with them for a year and getting paid every 2 weeks. And I was able to like leave my other jobs because of it. I was getting paid every 2 weeks to do these rentals. And after a year, they were like, hey, you need to hang your license with us now, and we're going to pay you a salary. And it was $50,000 a year. And they were going to give me a gas card and insurance. And at the time, I was like, this is really good. And like, I'm really considering this, but I was just like, I just feel as though
Were you trapped? Like you were working for someone else?
I had my license with this real estate brokerage, but then I had this awesome gig with this rental property management company, and I was getting paid every 2 weeks. It was commission, but I started making more commission than the salespeople who were like getting the $50,000 a year. And they're like, all right, Stevie, we need you to come just work here solely. And we're going to basically cap my income.
That's what employment is.
Yeah. And I was like, I really thought about it though, because to me, that was good money. A gas card, health insurance, $50,000 a year. I was like, I'm really thinking about it. And then I just was like, you know what? I really feel as though I can help more people. I want to do residential. I just envision like so much more with my life.
It's crazy because sometimes I spend $50,000 a day, like on just running my business.
And that's what people make a year, and that's good.
It's absolutely insane. The level of mindset that people like me and you have had to alter in our own psyches, I guess maybe our own mental
because
state.
like growing up, like my parents were like, "This is really good. Like you should go for that," and I was like, "No."
Parents, they're not wrong for their generation.
Yeah.
Because it's not the industrial age anymore.
Yeah.
Go to school, get a good job. Go to school, get good grades, get a good job, and then get the car and the house, and you have the white picket fence.
Yeah.
It's not like that anymore because you get the company pension and they take care of you. No company does that anymore. It's the information age. It's not the industrial age. And the problems with schools, this is a whole other level, but it's like they're still stuck in the industrial age level of thinking. They train for employees. They train for employment. And so that's why I flunked. But I was so outside the box. But I imagine that you're outside the box also because you weren't happy at all being stuck inside the employment box. Is that kind of what I'm hearing?
I mean, I feel like I was, okay, I just came from like 2 years prior to that to like living on my brother's dirty floor. Like $50,000 a year. I was like, I have made it. Like, this is good.
It's a big step.
And then I was like, but I can do more.
Okay, that's pound it because life is stepping stones.
Yeah.
And I'm doing it with different things in my life as well to get to certain levels. And so don't despise the day of small things. You know, like if you're like watching this and you're like, don't know what to do, you can't get from 0 to 60, miles per hour. Like overnight or in 5 years. I mean, it's going to take years and years and years to develop and stepping stone.
I think that's why I like beat myself up a lot because I'm just like, I still have so much more I want to achieve and accomplishments and whatnot. But it's like, wow, just think what I'm going to do in the next 5 years. And I'm not starting from the bottom this time.
It's a crazy thought, isn't it?
It's amazing. And I'm like, so excited. It
drives me like every like night and day, like in the middle of the day and like every hour and every minute is like such excitement. And, like there's hard times and I get through them, but then you get over that and then your mind kind of clears up again. You're like, oh yeah, like I'm doing this for a reason and there's a purpose behind my entire life and there's like a purpose behind what I'm doing and the struggle I just went through is like for a certain goal.
I wouldn't change it. There's no way I would change it.
Me either. I would never do anything else. Like I'm so happy with where I'm at in life. I would imagine you are too. So you got through that thing. You got through how'd you get out of your brother's, like you sold your first deal in the first 6 months and then what?
I basically was like, I'm going to save my money. I'm going to suck it up here. I'm going to stay here. I was like, sorry.
That's a fantastic move.
Y'all, but I'm staying. He was not happy.
People are not willing to be humble their first 5 years of business. I still don't have a huge, big office and trucks on the road. And I buy my guys computers and iPhones and certain things. And I invest in areas that's they need certain things, but I don't have all these luxuries, maybe year 15.
Yeah.
But the first 5 years, it was literally me and another guy or two, running millions of dollars worth of construction projects, and we weren't even doing millions and millions.
Yeah.
Like the first 3 years, it's like people, if they're willing to humble themselves, will go so much further. It's delayed gratification is the term. Get your first $250,000 to buy a Ferrari. It's like,
no.
What are you doing?
Well, and I'm all about.
I want my friends to think I'm cool. I bought a watch.
Yeah,
too.
I don't. My friends make fun of me because I always say, I'm like, they'll throw something at me like, should I get this house or this car or this bag or something? I'm like, no, you don't need it. Live below your means. Like, they always mock me and they're like, okay, living below my means, Stevie. And I'm like,
I agree with that to an extent. I don't mean like eat macaroni and cheese.
No,
but because like health don't compromise your health. Don't compromise things. Like the way I've streamlined it by the meal prep, I do this, do that. Like I am like at this point, and I have for the last like 4 years, I like really streamlined my life, and it's not even that much more expensive to be honest. Like but the time I'm saving, so I can actually spend.
Time is money.
It's everything actually.
Yeah. So I just think that. Humble yourself 100%. And that's exactly what I did. I stayed there. I kept showing up every single day. People had no idea what was going on.
How long did it take before you moved out?
So he actually moved out and I stayed.
Oh, is that the place you still live in?
No.
Oh, okay. So you stayed
bought
there
a house.
Oh, yeah.
Off Kernan.
That's right. I didn't remember.
Yeah.
That was recent.
Yes. This year, I could have bought it sooner. But that's just part of my philosophy. I'm like, no, we got to save. We got to live below our means and just wait. And it was like the perfect interest rates got lower.
Oh, yeah.
It was the perfect situation.
Yes. So, okay. You got out of the rags. We're
never going back.
So what is your goal for the next 5 years?
That's what I think I need to figure out. Like, towards the end of the year, we always do like business planning for the next year, like extensive planning.
You got to think 3 or 4 months ahead. And always.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm kind of like, how do I top this year? I made $300,000.
It's a great year.
How do I make more money than that? I need to bring more people on because I cannot do it myself.
You know what it is? It's systems and people. I talked about that in the last podcast, and it's how I live my life. I build the systems because we're the kind of the professional, the licensed professional that knows the trade, knows everything about the trade, knows everything also about the business.
Yeah.
So when we build all those business systems, we build all those, so to speak, trade systems, and then we put the people in place that are great people and say, read this, understand it, watch the GIF, watch the video, look at the photo with the red arrow on it, click these buttons, boom, boom, boom. If you have questions, like, let me know, but I'm going to walk you through it. And then it's always here for your reference as you're doing like the task, but also think bigger picture. I'm not hiring you just to do tasks. Some people maybe, but I hate hiring people just to do tasks. I want people that are like partners in thought.
I think that's really hard to find, isn't it?
Oh,
yes.
God. Yeah, they have different opinions of you than you. And like I had this situation where there's like these doors all of a sudden getting delivered for this huge ground up project. And it's like months in advance. And this other guy that the owner had hired, it was his responsibility to get the doors. But then my superintendent contacted that guy and was like, yeah, the guy said, I'll take care of it. I'll let you know if I need you. He said, absolutely. Let us know if you need us. Left it at that. Next thing you know, it's 2 hours or so before these doors are about to arrive, like 60-foot long doors for this huge like airplane hangar.
Yeah.
So it's like horrible situation. Not horrible. It was like stressful. Like in the moment, like I'm like getting my phone's blowing up. I'm at an animal hospital bidding a new project, and I have an 11 o'clock call, and it's 10:57 with a new client who wants to do this utility.
This sounds like my life.
This RV park. Who want to develop all these 10 acres and do a sewer tie-in and like electrical and all these things were happening at once. Then I get a call from the client and he's like, I'm just so not happy how this is going. Like, this is a problem. Like, Mr. Client, I'm gonna handle this.
Yeah.
And I called my project manager, said, this is not, he said, and he was freaking out. It's like, I don't give a damn. Like, this is not like our responsibility. I'm like, we're gonna handle this because this is our client. And I don't like the way you're handling this situation. Like, I'm going to take care of a client because it's about the client, just like Amazon would do. It's all about an Apple and all these big, it's all about the client. It's not about our bottom line.
Oh, totally.
I'm like, I called the client back. I said, will you pay us? Because it's not within our scope. I'm like, it's fine. Will you pay us to do it? He said, yeah. I'm like, done. I send a guy out there. He waits. we deliver it. It's a little bit of money. $1,600 for like the lull and the time, and the lull is a piece of machinery. But sometimes I wish people, going back to the point of the story is the thought behind decisions, and having more of a partner is definitely hard to find. But hopefully the people that were involved with that situation with me learned from the way I handled it.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I think like in so many situations, I think the same thing where I'm like, I hope that they learned that I didn't stress about it. I'm all like, problems arise every day, and fires are blowing up, but I'm all about, I'm not focused on how did this happen? I don't care. When they want to tell me some long drawn out story, I'm like, I do not care. My job is to figure out a solution and get us to the next step. So let's focus on that.
That actually could be a vital piece that maybe you're missing, is how did it happen? Maybe not in the moment, because you just got to fix it.
Well, yeah, and it's very emotional for people to buy and sell their homes. So they're...
well, maybe our fires are different.
Yes.
And I don't know exactly what you're referring to. It's different maybe.
Yeah.
But if let's just say a generalized problem, fix it. I don't give a crap how it happened. It's a problem right now. It's a red hot issue. We got to fix it now. But then go back, talk about it with the team, bring it up in the team meeting. I do a weekly Monday meeting. Zoom, or it's like a Google Meet. I love Google Meet. It's great. And it's embedded in Gmail. If you don't know, the bottom left, just like go there, click it, start a new meeting, invite people. And I just recurring calendar invite. So we talk about, hey, this is a problem. This is how we got through it. How can we
do better next time?
Yeah, but not just do better next time. How can we make there never be a next time? How can we not just have fire extinguishers, but literally have like fire suppression, like built-ins that never catches on fire? Metaphorically.
I think that's such a hard thing about our businesses, is like when those situations arise.
I got chills, by the way.
And it's like every day, right? Is it not?
Not for me.
I feel like people want to be a real estate agent, but they don't realize, for one, the time that goes into it, the effort, but like all the problems that arise. Like I went under contract on a listing today, and then the buyer and these sellers, they're so invested. They're like, okay, we're gonna start packing, we're gonna start moving, and then I'm like, hey, by the way, they just canceled. Like, I'm not gonna focus on why. I'm like, let's get the property relisted and let me get back to work on this.
Well, that's something that you can't control. I think there's things you can control, things you can't control. There's
a lot of things that I cannot control.
And you can't worry about those things. So
I can't.
I think you're 100%
I'm getting
right.
really good at it, though. I feel as though I struggled so long with it. I wouldn't sleep. I wouldn't eat. I'm so worried. I'm stressed out.
Yeah.
And then it's like, at the end of the day, like, there's nothing I can do. And you can't control other people's personalities, how they react to things. All I know is I'm going to show up and do the best job that I possibly can. And at the end of the day,
there's a caveat to her versus I, you versus me. You can't control people's personalities because you have like a couple, and you're going to build your team next year. I already know it, but like, you're dealing with these sellers and these buyers. Definitely you can't control. For me, it's my job to control their personalities. I don't know about personalities, but the way they handle situations, the culture. So that's a good point, is it's my job to control the people inside my team. Okay. What's the biggest challenge you have, and how are you going to overcome it?
I think right now is
challenge right now.
Trying to figure out, this is literally something that I'm working on right now, is like my business plan for next year. And I just am trying to figure out,
that's a good one.
How am I going to do more business next year? I'm already projected to do.
Why do you want to do more?
I feel like you always got to be better. You always got to do more. I'm wanting to grow. I feel as though I'm not growing. If I do the same numbers this year, I'm not growing.
Will you get bored, or just feel a little bit stagnant?
I'm not sure about bored, because I would like more free time. But that's where you have to like delegate out to
that's the key.
other people. So it's just a matter of like, I've been brainstorming with a couple of people and just trying to figure out like, what other ways can I lead generate, and who can I bring on my team? Who am I going to be able to trust to help my clients?
Most of your leads come from Instagram?
And like LinkedIn and Facebook, or this is the thing.
What's the top?
Instagram, for sure.
Yeah, like 17th, that whatever. And then LinkedIn, you have a bunch of people
I've had my highest listings from LinkedIn, And it's just all about building credibility. So let's say I meet somebody at an open house or someone introduces me to somebody.
Right.
I'm going to add them on social media because I feel as though my channels do provide a lot of credibility.
Do you follow them on Instagram?
Yes.
Is that how you get your Instagram followers? How many people do you follow? Like 15,000 or like?
No, I mean, like if I met you, I'm going to follow you back.
And you continue to follow them, you probably mute a couple of people.
No, I mean, if someone...
Because your feed would be blown up all the time.
No,
people you don't really...
Like, since I've been on the GSD Mode podcast, I got a lot of followers. I never met them. I never talked to them. I'm not going to follow.
Yeah, okay, so people you meet in person.
But if I met
networking.
if I met somebody in person, like I'm gonna reach out. I'm gonna follow them.
If you had $500,000 right now, how would you spend it?
I would invest it in real estate.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Single family?
Well, yes, absolutely. Because I've never done.
About that.
Yeah, I've never done.
Off air.
Yeah, I've never even done it before, so I would definitely want to start with that. And
right. And are you reading books and learning about that as you're kind of like wanting to get into that?
I have not read any books pertaining to that. I've just had conversations with people so far.
You called me and you're like, hey, I want to learn about real estate.
Yeah.
What do I do? So you're doing that with other people and you're seeing their
and there's just a lot of free content online. YouTube is just...
Well, that's what I meant by read and watch. Like,
are you I just haven't read
absorbing
like any
content.
Yes, absolutely.
About it. Okay, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
That's good. How do you continue to learn in order to stay on top of things in your role? I guess that's kind of, you just watch YouTube videos?
Okay. I love YouTube.
So do I.
Like my first...
I'll be on YouTube forever if it still exists.
Yeah. I mean, it's Google. It's owned by Google. It's a search engine and you can search anything on there and find amazing videos on. My first listing appointment that I went to, I hadn't gone to training yet because I was like shocked that I had a listing appointment and someone wanted me to list their house. So all I knew when I was on the phone with him, I was like, I just know to book the appointment. So I went on YouTube. I was like, I'll be there tomorrow morning. It was already in the afternoon, so I couldn't go to any training. I didn't really know who to ask. And I just went to YouTube and I was like, how to, listing appointment for real estate. And I just did everything he did.
There. Yeah. Anything you need.
Brian Casella, he has a ton of videos.
I watch him.
I ended up meeting him several times. Yes,
nice.
we're friends now. I feel like
that's cool.
You just have to surround yourself with people who are where you want to be.
Did you ever go to college? I mean, you did your AA or...
Yeah, I went to Gainesville. I went
did you
here.
finish?
I did not finish.
That's what I meant.
Yes.
Did you ever finish college?
I did not finish.
Okay, so you did like a year or 2 or 3?
Yeah, I just got into debt because of it.
That sucks. Okay.
No more debt.
Good.
Besides my house.
Because you're banking. Yeah. Well, yeah. And once you get into real estate, you'll learn the difference between good debt and bad debt.
Yeah.
That's a nugget. So what's the biggest failure? Did I already ask you that? And why do you think it happened?
I think my biggest failure was just, I feel as though I wasn't equipped with tools. Like I wish that we were taught in school how to have a good credit score, how to not get in credit card debt, student loans, taxes, like, oh my goodness.
How to close on a piece of real estate. Ugh. If only that was like taught.
Why?
You know what I'm saying?
Why isn't that taught?
I should do it. We should do it.
Such
you should do it.
Valuable information.
By the way, she has a YouTube channel too. Stevie Hahn, just like...
Yeah, I think you can just search Stevie Hahn and it pops up.
Hahn.
Yes.
And what would you recommend to someone who wants to get into social media? We already touched on that as far as like, just do it. Get on video. What if... Okay, this is a big question. What if someone's not comfortable on social media? What do they do?
Well, I do meet some real estate agents that I feel as though they aren't passionate about it.
They're not bred for it.
Yeah, and it's just like, well, then there's hundreds of ways to...
What are 5 of them?
Get real estate business, for calling for sale by owners, calling expireds, open houses, floor duty, pay for Zillow leads.
Okay.
You could Google and you'll get hundreds of ideas.
Not really know who you are once they look you
right.
up.
So to me, it makes no sense. But
this person
I think
isn't credible.
Some people really just... They're in their head. They cannot do it. And I feel as though they dread it. They dread it. They're not excited about it. If that's you, then don't do it. Focus on all these other things.
But doesn't that that's like a disadvantage, especially in the next 3 to 5 years?
Oh, totally.
That's a disadvantage.
I'm going to listing appointments and people already feel as though they know me and I'm not asking for the business.
Right.
Are you interviewing other people? They're like, no. I stopped asking because I'm like, no one is. I'm coming in. I'm getting that listing appointment. Yeah. I'm just touring the house. I'm getting to know them and I'm figuring out what we need to do to get this ready to sell.
Yeah.
So that's
They know you, they trust you, they've built credibility, you've built authority.
The perfect example too is like other people that I know on social media, like other jobs or services that I'm looking for. I'm looking on social media. I'm looking them up. And
how do you actually, you go to Instagram, you can
search their business.
Search in
like
general?
my pavers I got pavers done in my backyard.
On Instagram?
Yeah. Well, no, I didn't find them on Instagram, but I
Google.
looked them up after.
Okay.
I found them on, I think, Thumbtack or
And
Home
then you look them
Advisor.
up on, okay,
yeah,
that
and then I
makes
looked
sense.
up their social media, and I was like, okay, is there like some credibility behind this? And
Definitely.
I think that gosh, they could have done all these jobs for free. I don't know. I was like, wow, looks like they've done a lot of jobs. People look happy.
Right.
There's good comments on there.
The biggest thing I've done is make videos with my clients and have them testimonials.
Oh, that's the best.
When people see that on your website, as well as me walking through projects, I do that too.
Yes.
Why would they pick anyone else? What do you do every day to drive your success? Like, what's one thing that you do? Like you mentioned journaling. Do you like I get up late, believe it or not. Like I was bidding a $4.2 million job last night until like 1 a.m.
Dang.
And
how can you get up at 5 at that point?
well, I still got up for my pre-con meeting at the airport for our new project. But I typically don't get up before my day doesn't start before 9.
Yeah.
Like just TBH.
That's awesome.
What about you?
I don't get up super early anymore. I used to get up so early, and then I was like, why am I getting up so freaking early? I make my own schedule.
Yeah.
I do what I want.
It doesn't make any sense to me.
Y'all
It's
can
like,
wait for me.
I get in the groove from like 10
Yeah,
to...
I'm not awake yet. I need like 2 cups of coffee. I need to get my workout in. I need to have breakfast. Then come talk to me.
I'm like a big sleep person. Like I need rest.
Oh my! I think I said that on the podcast. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I do not get up super early. I like 8 hours, 8 to 9.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm like
It's
on my
super
A
vital.
game at that point.
Because then you just go and you just crush it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like boom, boom, boom. Because then you're energized. You're good to go. What types of systems? Have you built any systems in your business?
I have a lot
How are
of...
you training this transaction coordinator? She just knows what
Oh,
she's doing.
no. So, yeah,
You
she
got
worked
lucky?
with a team.
Yeah.
So, she knew everything to do. She worked for a title company, and she worked for the brokerage that I was
What
with.
do you pay her? Like $20 an hour or something? Or like?
No, each transaction I pay her.
Oh, okay. A flat fee.
Yeah.
I wonder if you could somehow systemize that to scale. Like even have her systemize it for you. Say, hey, I've used this thing called Giphy, Giphy. I mentioned it multiple times. And you just like screen record like your mouse, like clicking the right buttons, and you can like build a website, even like an internal website. I have Jaylen internal. And it's like people can go on there and they learn how to do every single step of the business.
Oh, okay, nice.
You should try something like that.
She is so on top of it that I don't.
She's gone and you're done. If she was to get hit by a bus.
Oh, well, then I would try to find somebody else. Right?
Yeah, or you could hire people that maybe are half as skilled as her.
Yeah.
With the right amount of training.
Yeah.
But they still might only be 3/4 of the person that you need.
Yeah.
But
well, there's a lot of like email templates that I have that basically explain like every step of the process. So I was having to like retype it up or retell people, and I felt like a broken record. So I was like, I'm just gonna write this up one time, and then
I do the same thing. Like when I send a proposal, it's like blah, 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 blah. I have all the links and the insurance docs and my GC license and like W-9
and I have videos that I send through like emails and like explains the process again. I do not. I use mojosales.com. It's like $10 a month. I don't like to spend money. So like I know how much BombBomb is. I think it's like $50, and I'm like, no, I found one for 10.
50, yeah. 49.
Yeah. Actually, Vidyard is free, and it's like essentially the same thing. But I know BombBomb does have like a lot of really cool
You can track emails with it too.
Yeah.
It's a Chrome extension, and it's on your Gmail, and you can see when people have opened your email. I don't know if you're
on Mojo, it does.
Really?
Yeah.
Mojo? I'm going to write this down.
Mojosales.com. And I love,
sales.com.
because I used to have Boomtown, which was like $1,000 a month. And it does have a lot of really cool features, but I didn't like how the emails was set up. I couldn't plug I could plug in a video, but it was like the link that they had to click on. That looks spammy and they're not going to go click on that.
Yeah.
But now it's like Bomb's presentation.
Like thumbnail pops up.
Right.
Like you're kind of moving.
My face with the play
it's
symbol.
Like a GIF. It's a GIF.
Yes.
It's a moving GIF. And it says click to play.
So it looks legit.
2-minute
And
video.
and you can, the way that you can design it on Mojo Sells, I just really, really like.
I'm going to check that out. So I say $40.
It's really nice.
How much percent do you want of my savings? I'll give you $4, 10%.
It's okay.
It's actually $49, so I'll give you $9.
No.
Knowing what you know now, is there anything that you would have done differently on your journey?
Honestly, I just truly believe that everything happens for a reason, and any mistakes, I feel like in this business, like you're going to make mistakes. And that was one thing that I knew, like getting in. I was like, I'm definitely going to make mistakes, but I'm going to learn from them. And that's going to make me a better person, a better real estate agent. I feel like we're all always learning. Mm-hmm. But I would not do, I feel as though when I was going through hard times, you're like, why am I going through this? Why is this happening? My friends like have it made and all this stuff. But like now looking back, I'm so happy.
Are you in your early 30s?
Yes.
Okay. But like the friend thing, it's so fascinating. It's like the dude who's like stuck at the $70,000 job.
Yeah.
Any dude. And he has the nice BMW and he has a great house, but he's massively in debt.
Yeah.
And he'll never make more than 120 grand a year, maybe. Or maybe 200 grand. Maybe if he makes 300 grand a year, you're already making 300 grand a year and you're set your own schedule with an unlimited ceiling.
Yeah. That's what's so amazing about it.
Yeah. And all you have to do is hire people and put systems in place.
But people can't do it.
And then be a leadership.
They can't do it. It takes time.
They can't do it easily.
Yeah, they can't.
But if they only would just watch the Jay Lane Experience,
there you go.
They're going to learn more and more about how to run their business, lead people. Crap, I don't even know how to lead people. I'm like, dude, I've been doing this 7 years. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have all these people that I'm like providing for their families.
Yeah.
You know, and they're all looking to me, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70-year-old people that I need to coach.
That's amazing.
It's fascinating. And I've been doing it since I was 22 and I still have no clue what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like I read The Leader Shift by John C. Maxwell. And it's like shifting from not yourself. It's not about yourself. It's about them.
Yeah.
There's like 9 different shifts that you go from like here to there of like how you can be a better leader of people. And I need to read more leadership books. I actually haven't read a lot of leadership books. I read Entre Leadership by Dave Ramsey. I am not a Dave Ramsey guy. I'm a Robert Kiyosaki guy. Mm-hmm. Like Dave is like, pay everything with cash. Don't be in debt. Like Dave is like an employee. I agree for an employee. Mine, like the cash flow quadrant, I've talked about it all the time. The employee quadrant is like, don't be in debt. That's like stupid. Like be in debt to buy your car. That's bad debt. Mm-hmm. If you're in the business owner and the investor quadrant, be in debt. That's Robert Kiyosaki's viewpoint. You have to spend money to make money. You have to borrow money. OPT, OPM, other people's time, other people's money. You got to borrow it to make it. And you're going to make percentage on top of their money. And you can, once you get your money back, say refinance this 20-unit apartment complex that you're going to buy in 2 years because you're like balling, then you get an infinite return. Because you get your money back out of the refinance. Say you put $250 down and then you put in like the renovations, then you rent it out, then you refinance it, then you get $250 plus the renovations you got back based off the equity because you're value adding. That's what they call it. It's just there's unlimited opportunities. Then you're just cash flowing and you're appreciating and you can depreciate on your taxes.
That's a goal.
It's
to have.
Epic. Real estate is epic.
It is.
And that's why I wanted you to have you on here. Now I'm excited because you're transitioning. This is the juice right here. If you've made it to the end, is you're transitioning.
Comment below if you're still here.
So comment below if you're still here because it's about to get good. I got Mojo Sales. I'm gonna hold this up to the camera.
Okay.
E, S, B, and I. Okay. So the E quadrant is where a lot of people get stuck. The S quadrant stands for Stevie. It's self-employed, and that's you're a doctor, you're a lawyer, you're the same thing. This is real estate agents. What you're doing is moving more into the B, but you want to get to the I. Mm-hmm. This is business owner and investor. Mm-hmm. You're going to transition.
I definitely want to be an investor.
You're going to transition. I can see you doing one of these, but you're going to play in both.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
I'm an employee. I'm in the E quadrant, the B quadrant, and the I quadrant because I pay myself a salary out of my business. So technically Jesse Lane is in the E quadrant because I have to like legally pay myself a fair wage as the owner of the company. Like I make like,
Oh, like an S corp?
well, no, I pay myself like 60 or 70 grand. Like I pay myself $65,000 a year out of my company.
Yeah.
So Jesse Lane Personal gets a salary out of J Lane Construction. But I'm the business owner. So if I need money out of J Lane Construction, I just take it as a shareholder distribution. Yeah. Or
It's probably great for taxes.
It's fantastic for taxes. Yeah. And the I is even better for taxes. This is actually the worst. Hopefully you can still see it. Good. This is the worst for taxes. 40% or 35, whatever. This is a little bit better. But if this is the $70,000 guy that makes it a year with the nice car and the nice house, he's going to stay here and be stuck because he goes straight into, there's a cycle, and I don't need to draw it, but he gets money, goes straight to the liability column. If you get money and go straight to the asset column, save a little bit first, but don't become a saver. Savers are losers because of inflation. And you don't get returns on money that just sits there. You get returns on money that you put into the I quadrant.
I like to save. I'm the saver.
But this is good.
No, but
I'm waiting.
It's
good.
I'm waiting.
You're doing everything 100% perfect. Save to invest.
Yes. Oh, totally.
That's the point.
Yeah.
You're saving for the right reason. You're not saving so you just keep, oh, now I have $1 million, now I have $2 million, now I have $5 million. Okay, well, I'm going to retire. Then it just goes like a balloon.
Yeah. Oh, right.
It's like, why would you put a ticking time bomb when you're 65 on your life? When you run out of money, you're out of money.
Yeah.
If you put it into assets, you will never run out of money.
I love it. Okay, you know what's so great about your podcast? And like this is, you're just starting out.
I'll come back.
I can't wait to see the growth that you do with this because I know you're going to be so consistent. And I can't wait to see me and look back on this and be like, I was like
Stevie
just
was my
getting
first,
started.
second guest, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm going to look back and be like, wow.
Isn't
I
that
had
crazy?
no idea what else. I just can't wait. I can't wait.
Watch this in 5 years if we're still both on Earth.
Yes.
Hopefully.
We'll definitely still be on Earth.
More than likely. You have to have that mindset too. Like, don't be like dreadful. Like,
I know. That was like kind of morbid.
It was tough.
Like,
no, but it's like, it's
let's
real.
bring it back.
I want to see you at 50 million in sales. You know what I'm saying? Like, why would you not be?
If I'm not, I'll be growing. So that's.
I would like to also be, because in 5 years, that would be roughly, hopefully, where I'd like to be.
Yeah.
Because I'd love to be at 100 million by 2030 in gross sales, which is quite the feat.
I can't even imagine.
I can't wait to look back on this and be like, 100 million. Like, I'm a $900 million company.
Oh, that's so amazing. It's going to happen. That's what's so awesome. That's so awesome.
What else do you want to add? I mean, obviously, I've shouted you out a million times.
Yeah, no, totally.
Where can people, like, you can say that, but also, like, what would you leave people with? Like, anything?
I guess, so a really good question that I was asked recently was, what advice would I give myself when I was first starting out? I just thought that was such a good question.
Spit it.
And I just feel as though, like, it's so cliche, but just, you might not see the light at the end of the tunnel, and things are so hard, and you're going through a lot of challenges right now, which I bet a lot of people will be able to resonate with. But if you put in the work and you keep showing up and you have a positive attitude, it is going to pay off. And I wish I could like tell my younger self, like, just keep going, because it's going to be so worth it.
And you know what it is? It's this is just what worked for me. Is it's no Netflix and Friends or any extra peripheral nonsense.
You're laser focused.
For the first 5 years, I was a laser down into the dirt. I was eating dirt with a laser in my mouth.
I think you have to be.
I was building the foundation. I told everyone that ever worked for me, I was like, guys, this is going to suck. We're building the foundation and we're going down and we're going around. I'm like, I remember saying this to these, like, a group of men. I'm like, we're doing this. I'm like, we're going around, like, digging this foundation. But looking back, I'm like, I've built this foundation.
Yeah.
I've put the rebar. I've poured concrete. Got all my inspections. And I've like, the inspections are like the mentors maybe. And I've like,
awesome.
I had this bones of this house. We'll call it a house, right? Of a metaphor built. I'm like, oh crap. Like, okay, the hard work is done. Like let's put a roof. Let's finish this thing out. The finishes are the fun part.
Yeah, that's why I'm like,
now I'm like tweaking my systems. I'm like
Yes.
dealing with little culture issues. I'm like the head guy.
you're
you
not
know.
at the bottom now.
Yeah.
You're not starting from
I'm not in the dirt.
bottom.
Not to say I'm not willing to go out in the lawn and eat some dirt, because I have to get out there and start digging sometimes. I don't mean to become a technician.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, like, get in and solve problems with your dudes your guys, your people that work for you.
Mm-hmm.
So
Totally. Well, this was so much fun, and I thank
was
you so
awesome.
much for the opportunity.
You're welcome. Sold by Stevie.
Yeah. Follow me, see all the things. I do a lot of behind the scenes. I take off weekends now, so
Like
if you follow me on a
social
Saturday,
media.
you might be a little disappointed.
You don't post anything anymore
No, I'm trying to take like
on weekends.
time off, not wanting to answer questions, but that's what Wednesday's for. Is like ask questions, and people
Yeah, check that link out. You can join your Zoom call.
Yeah.
Is there like a cap to how many people can? There's like unlimited.
I think Zoom is
Zoom's
like
unlimited. I don't know.
yeah, I think it's unlimited.
So you just have like, how many people do you have join?
About 50.
And what do you talk about?
Every week we do a different topic.
Real estate
and
mastermind.
yeah, like yesterday we talked about taxes and like
Nice.
LLC, S corps and stuff. And then towards the end we do like a Q&A.
You and Amanda.
Yeah,
Right.
Amanda Knight, she's a real estate agent out in Dallas, Texas, and we met on Instagram.
Oh, she's not even local?
No.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I didn't even know
And you
her.
met her on Instagram 2 years ago.
And I was
now
like,
you're
"Hey girl, do
partners
you want to do this with me every Wednesday night at 7 p.m.?"
That's amazing.
I met her for the first time in February. I went to Dallas, and then I stayed with them again like a month or two ago with her and her fiance. Like it's so
Epic.
crazy, the relationships. Like she's like family now.
It's amazing.
It's awesome.
All off of social media.
Yes.
Get on social media, go to her Zoom link, and remember to post in the comments what you want to see with Justin Bullock.
Yes.
Coming up on the next
I
one.
can't wait to see that.
We'll see you in episode 3.
Okay, bye.
Goodbye.